Classic EQ, Neve 1073. V-Gates, how goes it? I'm Chris Presnell. Welcome to the Mix Repair Guy channel. This video will look at the classic Neve 1073 EQ. It's frequently found on channel strips with a 1073 mic preamp. It was among the first EQs to use a solid-state circuit design with transformers and inductors. Let's get into it. History. Rupert Neve started the Neve Company in 1961 and was making Class A tube-based consoles in the early 60s. But by 1964, the company moved to a new location where they created their first transistor-based preamp, EQ, and modular consoles. In 1968, they created the 2254 compressor limiter, so their product line contained enough for an entire signal chain. By 1970, they were tasked with building a solid-state console for Wessex Studios in London. They designed separate replaceable channel strips for a modular console called the A88. Instead of using the existing 1066 modules, they created a new design, which was called the Neve 1073. Each channel had a 1073 mic preamp using two separate gain stages for the inputs. That fed into a transformer-coupled output section to raise the signal to line level. All this made it more sensitive and quieter than the older tube-based designs. Plus it ran cooler with less power and in a smaller space. That fed into an EQ circuit that used inductors in the mid-band components. Its design gives audio a weight, thickness, and color that probably comes from the subharmonics of the transformers. The solid-state design passes transients and top end very well. The 1073 was used in some of Neve's early 80s series mixing consoles in the early 70s. But by 1973, the Neve 8048 console abandoned the 1073 in favor of the newer 1081 mic pre and EQ. While not drastically different, the 1081 EQ did offer more EQ points on several bands. 1073 controls. There's a third-order high-pass filter with 4 cutoff frequencies and a fixed 18 dB per octave roll-off, which helps prevent mud and boom. The multiple frequency selections on the low and mid bands are fixed, but selectable by turning the outer ring surrounding the gain knob. All of these bands so far include an off position on their frequency selection knob. That takes the band out of the circuit so it won't change the sound or the phase of the signal at all. High shelf on the original 1073 was fixed at 12K. It can't be removed from the circuit like the other bands, but it can be set to unity, so it passes a flat signal. Like the low and mid bands, the high band can also boost or cut. Neve's choice of frequencies and curve shapes are known for sounding very musical, which means they are well suited to popular instruments. Since they were so well chosen, mixing is simpler, which lets you work faster and be more productive. Instrument settings. Let's start with acoustic guitar. Sometimes you need to high pass at 50, 80, or even 160 Hz to get rid of the boominess. Depending on the high pass filter setting, you may need to boost or cut the lows. The frequency of the lows will depend on the part being played. A high mid boost at 7.2K can add a nice sheen. For electric guitar, you might want to start by adding the high pass filter at 50 or 80 Hz to tighten up the bottom end. I say might because it really depends on how it was recorded. If it doesn't need it, don't put it on. Try some low shelf boost up to 220. To add more presence, try boosting the mids around 4.8K. Double check that the mics are still in the best locations for the current EQ settings. Moving down the frequencies brings us to bass or bass guitar. You might not need any high-pass filtering, but try a low shelf boost at 110. You can bring out the mids with the boost at 360 or 700, which will be good for listeners with small or low-quality speakers. Now for the bottom end. Kick drum likes it low, so setting a low shelving boost at 60 can be a good place to start. Click and bite can be brought out with a boost at 3.2K. Next up, the snare. Start with a low shelving boost at 220 Hz. Adding high mids around 7.2K adds more crack and aggression. Last, we get to vocals. They usually do well with some high-pass filtering. If it's still too booming, move farther away from the mic. Try boosting the lows around 110 for a fuller sound. Adding some 3.2K might increase articulation. A little high shelf will give you some nice air and openness. Speaking of high shelf, on the original 1073 this was a fixed frequency at 12 kHz, but later incarnations, clones, and plugins added 10K and more. This can be useful on all kinds of sources and opens up the top end. It helps take the blanket off your track. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to tell your friends. Most of all, try to learn something new every day and have a great time doing it.